All right, folks, do something a bit new here today. Throw this into the daily market update. Um, I'm going to walk through a bit of the Benchmarking Plus app and Well Explorer app, but what I'm really doing is I added in the ability to add just single well arcs declines onto individual wells on the main Well Explorer page. So I'm just going to kind of showcase that functionality a little bit. It's nothing fancy. It's just I found myself needing to just do single well forecast now and again for analysis. And instead of me throwing it in the code each time and trying to just do the analysis, I figured I'd just have a quick way to do it. Since I don't have access to things like Aries or PhDWin or anything, just my own stuff I make. So yeah, I'm gonna throw that together. One thing I'll mention also is on the AFE economics app, which I'm not going to showcase here. I've added the ability to select all or deselect all on the kind of type curve selection around wells. So if you use that at all, that's kind of some new functionality there that, once again, it's something I was getting annoyed with having to deselect or select all of them. So I just added in those buttons myself. Um, but yeah, let's walk through what you're seeing on my page is R in our studio, which is where I'll do a lot of like data analysis type work. And this is plugged in directly into my database. If you feel like reading through all this minutia here, but what I'm doing is just pulling in Waynesville wells that I have cost for from Comstock and Athon, which is about 30 wells, and then grabbing first production dates, and I'm sorting by first production. And I'm going to try to just do a quick stab at some EUR data for these wells, because now that some of them have been on long enough, you can get a good idea of what the final EUR is going to be on these wells. I'll be tending to use something between a 0.5 and 0.7 on the B factor, just because this is really deep overpressured stuff in the Haynesville, which typically will fall around there on your final B factor. I'll say there's three wells from Athon. Well, there's 5 wells from Athon that actually have enough data to where you would think, okay, I can add decline to this, get a forecast. But 3 of them, after like over 2 years, are still basically flat production. So they're bangers, and I don't know what the final EUR is going to be on those wells. If I had some pressure data, I could probably figure it out, but I do not. But most of the Comstock wells have enough decline history to where you can actually peg an EUR on it. So that'll be, for the most part, what we'll focus on a little bit. Here's kind of what that table looks like when you look at it. I've added the EUR data myself physically just over the last 20 minutes or so. And this is kind of like the well list that comes out of my database, which this is what you see on the front end a lot of times interpreted, or if you have access to the API, you just mass download all this stuff and just put it in there. You can see I have the EUR and EUR per foot kind of starting to populate. We're really going to focus kind of 2408 and earlier. Anything below is usually within still basically flat production. So you're not going to really be able to get decline on these wells right here. Some of these, like I said, Athon wells are still basically flat for the most part. I think for Comstock, yeah, every one of them I was able to at least put an EUR on going up through 2024-08. This Holmes unit, it's a dog, but we can I'll show that one here in a second. We'll go over first real quick and go on to, let's see, we'll go to, pull this over here. This is the Benchmarking Plus app. What you can do is kind of filter on the side to your target area. You want horizontal wells. Do you want actual costs? For these wells, I just have actual. I don't have the AFEs on there unless somebody wants to graciously send one my way that you've participated in and give me permission to post. I'll put it on there. But for now, just the cost types. If I have a full breakdown there and some other filters you can use, there's also per filters, production year, spud date, and AFE date if it's an AFE. And you get this selection of wells. Your target area, this is that Elijah 1 Piggins well up here that they just drilled up in Freestone. And so you can also use these map selectors to kind of focus in on an area. That's how I did a lot of this. Is you can already see it's 30 wells in that drawn area. And then you'll go through it here and run benchmarking. I've got a, you could do some custom charts here just with this benchmarking data you pull in. So if I wanted to do like total capex per foot, spud year on the x-axis, and group by operator, put in some titles. Spud, Y is capex per foot. Y title would be, oh, there's not a secondary axis, and then the plot title will be Waynesville cost trend or something like that. You can generate a chart real quick and get some high-level analysis on these wells, kind of see how it's going over time and things like that, and then just straight export the image. Got a summary of the wells over here that you can click on, and you can either go to the well there or just go down here and select the well you want to look at. We'll filter on FP year here. Just going to look at a couple of the wells here. I've already calculated it out. So we'll look at that Circle M allocation well from Comstock, which is actually, I think, might be their best well to date. Let me look real quick back on this thing. It's one of the, this might be Comstock's best well. It's one of the two. So they've got a couple of wells, it looks to me, that could hit 3 BCF per foot, which is, I think Jera said something like 3.5. I don't see that yet, outside of a few Athon wells, but this well's still fairly decent well. And I guess if you put a much higher B factor on there, you can maybe get there, but just showcase a little bit of the decline parameters. So let's say we go down to, what I'm going to do is these things will, the way the EUR calculates is it'll just use actuals up until the point you hit the forecast. So really all I'm trying to do is just get the best fit for the latter part of the curve and then get the fit down. This one, oof, 0.7 B factor might be aggressive on this one. I might actually have to go to like a 0.5. It almost looks flat. But let's curtail it like 12 months, 18, 4 maybe, 25. Yeah, let me go 10,413, and I'll turn it out to like 27 months or something like that, there, 28. Anyway, I'm just going to try to fit like kind of like this later portion of the curve and just put a decline on that real quick. So get a decent fit there. It's what, 23.7. You can look at the rate versus cum plot just to kind of confirm the trend and see what it looks like and make sure you agree with it. I could probably put that on a log axis. So 23.7 BCF, what I'm getting there, that puts that well, I got 23.8 earlier, at about 3 BCF per foot. Well, so that's that one. Let's go through and look at this Holmes A unit, which is drilled more recently, but it's on decline real quick. 22 million for this well. Well, at least they spent lower on it. Like, who is this? Oh, this is an Athon well, actually. So yeah, Athon for the most part has done pretty well with this well. It does not look great for them. Like I said, most of the other wells are either huge or just have not actually hit decline yet. Let's go with call it 6,500 MCF per day. Turn it out for 5 months. Okay, maybe. I'll put 8, 0.7 on this one, and then we'll do like 60 and 55. So trim that one out. That's about 6.9 BCF on this well. So they've done a lot of really good wells out there, but this is not one of their better efforts. So far, 6.6 is what I had before, so 0.74 BCF per foot. So I went through and just populated for the wells we've seen. Actually, let's look at this one last well by Athon. This is the River Ranch. This is one of their really good wells. Pull this up. In case if you've never seen what this app is, this is basically you get well header information that I collect for these wells, because if I'm doing research, I need to collect the data. Surveys, if I have them, filings with the state, so your G1, stuff like that, that's where I'll be pulling these reservoirs. As far as Waynesville goes, I use the deepest penetration to decide what the reservoir is. I don't know exactly, because if you use HB as this is a Bossier well, a lot of those wells actually have Haynesville penetration. So what I've decided to do is just if it hits Haynesville on the penetration of the G1 filing, I'll call that a Haynesville well, and if it hits Bossier but no Haynesville, I'll call it Bossier. Maybe that's wrong, but that's typically the process I'll use in other areas as well. You got the casing design, cost data. If there's cost breakdown data, you'll see this all in this kind of like area right here. And then production and whatnot here. Go look at this well. Go up 16,500. Try to trend that out to, I mean, this thing is barely even on decline after like 2 years. Let's call it 28. All right, and then just say we use our straight 0.7 and a 8% terminal. So yeah, like 28 BCF is kind of what this one looks like. I mean, we still need a little more decline history to kind of get comfortable with what that one is, but I mean, we're already almost pushing 20 BCF on this well anyway. So this is certifiably a very, very good well. Let's go over here. What did I have? I put 29.7. Yeah, about the same. 4.6 BCF per foot. That it's still barely on decline, so it could change either to the upside or downside. But yeah, that's what it's looking like today. The other wells that are Athon that you don't see an EUR for these three, these are basically still flat. So they're probably going to be close to that River Ranch unit as far as productivity wise goes. So Athon killing it on a production perspective. As far as Comstock, I've got some summary stats here that I just pulled together on average. So average to date for these wells is 2 BCF per foot, which is, I mean, that's kind of what you target in core Haynesville, which is significantly cheaper. Upsides, P10 is about 3 BCF, P90 1.45. I mean, as the play expands, we're going to get more info on kind of where the best areas are, where the sweet spots are. That's all part of delineation. At whatever $5 per MMBTU today, it's probably looking okay. But I think that's getting to the point where I think you need mid fours to fives probably to even make these wells work if it's a 2 BCF per foot well, especially at these costs. So you need a lot of things to work in your favor to make them work right now. I guess unless you're Athon, because these things are just flat forever. Unfortunately, they don't have as large a position as Comstock does, but looking pretty good from their perspective. But yeah, that's kind of the summary. One thing I forgot to highlight when I was looking at revenue, GPT data is down here. So you can look at the price they're getting at the wellhead and GPT costs for that stream. If there's NGLs and stuff like that, it'll be included here. But netbacks aren't that great. Once again, these are wellhead. These aren't corporate level agreements. So if they have some overarching corporate agreement to resell their gas to LNG or whatnot, that's a separate thing. This is just what they're getting at the wellhead. So we should be a little bit better on that one because it's 798 minus 217 is your like 500. So you're getting less than $2 per MCF after GPT on this well in September, and I think gas price was doing all right in September. But yeah, if you're a premium sub, you can just go through here and grab this data and look at it and compare it to. I mean, use it to actually start building out well economics for these wells. I have well economics engine that I use generally for the AFE evaluation area. Maybe I'll add that in here real quick if people want it or care. But for now, I just needed it real quick to do ER, so I wanted to showcase kind of that functionality. All right, I'm gonna get to wrapping up the morning note. I'll tag this along as a YouTube video for people to look at. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great weekend and holiday season.